Mr. Speaker.
Order. Questions for oral answer. Prof. Koh Lian Pin.
Mr. Speaker, may I have your permission to address this question from Professor Koh Lian Pin and written question number 14 from Member He Ting Ru, as well as question number 29 for oral answer raised by Professor Koh Lian Pin from yesterday in a single reply, please.
Please do.
The rich public consultation on Singapore's raised climate ambition was part of a comprehensive series of engagement that the government has carried out since April 2022 under the Singapore Green Plan 2030. Through these engagements, we have received feedback and views from more than 1,700 stakeholders. The National Climate Change Secretariat has published a summary of feedback from these stakeholders, as well as more detailed feedback from the rich public consultation on Singapore's raised climate ambition on its website on 25th October 2022. Both reports address the question raised by Professor Koh. The Singapore government has just submitted Singapore's second update to our 2030 Nationally Determined Contribution, or NDC, to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, or UNFCCC. In the submission, we indicated that Singapore intends to reduce emissions to around 60 million tonnes of carbon dioxide equivalent in 2030 after peaking our emissions earlier. Peaking our emissions earlier than 2030 is significant and requires substantial transformations across industry, economy, and society. Unlike countries that have access to abundant abatement resources domestically, Singapore has to rely on external measures such as electricity imports and carbon capture, utilization, and storage. Negotiations with foreign partners on several arrangements are still ongoing. As such, it is premature to announce a precise year in which our emissions will peak. The government's best estimate is for emissions to peak between 2025 and 2028, which will be earlier than our previous 2030 target at around 65 million tonnes. Notwithstanding these uncertainties, we remain committed to achieving what we set out in the second update to our 2030 NDC for our emissions in 2030 to be around 60 million tonnes, or 5 million tonnes lower than what we set out in the first update in 2020. This 5 million tonnes reduction is substantial. It is more than the total emissions from households today. We have put in place a comprehensive package of mitigation measures under the 5 pillars of the Green Plan to achieve this.